everybody for coming out tonight. I know you've been waiting. We appreciate your patience. I hope you're enjoying the food. I'm going to have everyone introduce themselves just to get started off, but my name is Kadijat, and I am the brain behind Girls Who Listen. For those who don't know, it's a non-profit organization focused on really creating and providing opportunities for women in music. And so we host different panels like this one with all these beautiful faces. And everyone on this panel has a very unique position in my heart. I've gotten a chance to connect with each and every one of them, and I really can't wait for them to share their story today. So yeah, without further ado, let's clap it up for them. So first and foremost, I'll have Tiara, of course. Introduce yourself.
Hi, how's everyone feeling tonight? Good. I'm Tiara Hargrave, and I'm the EVP General Manager / babysitter at Alamo Records.
Hi guys, thank you so much for coming. My name is Alicia Gooding, and I am the head of client services and the director of artist and influencer programming at Breaker.
Cha-cha, ew. Can I get an ew? I know that's right. My name is DJ Miss Milan, aka your fairy vibe mother, the official DJ of Sweetie and Doechii, as well as the head of Girl Gang Global, which is a platform dedicated to women, DJs, and the LGBTQ community in music. So, you know, we doing it big, we doing it whatever.
You better talk your talk, Milan. Hey y'all, I'm Miabelle. Nice to meet you guys. I'm a radio personality here in New York City over at Hot 97 and 100.3 in Philly. I do a lot of things. I guess we're going to get into it on the panel, but for now, that is, you know, the starter.
So as you guys know, this panel today is, of course, about Black women, celebrating Black women and the spaces that we've gotten in, especially within music. So I kind of want to start off, and Miabelle, if you want to start us off, as a Black woman, how did you navigate kind of like the power structure, especially early on in your career?
Wow, why you had to go to me first? Kadijat used to intern over at Hot 97, by the way, and that is how we know each other. But yeah, make some noise for her, because she's doing it. Yes. Now, see, they bringing a drink. Wow. Oh, my gosh. I feel so special. Now, as far as the power structure, I still feel like I'm navigating that now in my career as far as I have gotten. But in the beginning, I was very scary. Work was the one place that I was like, can I curse on here? Yeah. Work was the one place where I was really pussy, and I'm not pussy in real life, for real. But at work, I was a little nervous only because that is something that, you know, I never wanted them to take away from me. And you know the power structure, especially with men, hello, dealing with women is really tough. But it wasn't until recently where I got confident in the work that I do to where it's like, you're not about to regulate on me the way you think you are. But in the beginning, it was hard, and it took a lot of time for me to grow out of that, and I still feel like I am, but it was a lot of soul searching within myself as opposed to everything that was going on around me, if that makes sense. Yeah? Okay. Ashe, y'all feel me? Yeah.
And I know, Milan, you're kind of like in a similar space, you know, being a radio person, well, a personality in general. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Power struggle. Well, for me, honestly, I'm a gangster, so niggas always respect my shit because I don't play that game. But no, honestly speaking, me coming up in the game, I was very strong-headed, knew exactly what I wanted to do. On top of discovering myself, I already kind of knew who I was, so it wasn't really like anybody could come in my lane and just, or try to like push me out of the way. It was like, I'm here, God placed me here first of all, so I'm definitely gonna stay here. And that's just what it's been for me. Like, I know myself, I don't allow anybody to push me around, make me feel small, because I have a purpose, and my purpose is gonna shine through regardless. So power struggle for me, you know, you have certain people that try to, you know, dim your light, but you just shine brighter. And that's just my whole, you know, trajectory of life. So that's just been me.
So I say a common denominator is definitely talking about, you know, building skills and, you know, finally getting into this place that you feel like, you know, you really can be that be. So Alicia, let's talk a little bit about you and kind of like what you do over at Music Breaker and just like what are some of the struggles as a Black woman that you've noticed within the space?
Okay, so with Music Breaker, first off, Breaker is a tech platform, right? We're a marketplace that connects artists, labels, and brands with influencers. So anyone that's known me, for those that don't, I've been working in the marketing publicity space for over a decade now. I started in experiential marketing and advertising agency, and then I built my own agency, which I still have, about 9 years ago. So one, just coming into a space that only has about 3% women, in itself, it was just like, what am I doing here? And I don't know about code. I don't know about ones and zeros. Like, how do I stay here? Why do they want me? And how do I figure out my footing? So for me in any situation, you know, especially Breaker, I kind of was like, this is what they have. Where are they weak? Where do they need things? I think a lot of times that we as people, whether man, woman, we kind of look at the things that are going good and we're like, oh, let's try to do this, or let me tell this person that I can lean into this that they're already doing. But what are the things that they should be doing that you can do? Like, what is your niche? So I think coming into Breaker, that's what I really leaned into. Those are the skills that I developed. When they brought me in, I came in to be their head of operations. Within 2 months, I built out the brand department, which was Breaker Select. I was telling my CEO, like, Breaker could be a new label, right? We should be working with the labels. We should be showing labels how to effectively roll out an artist. This is not about putting 50,000 in 1 month. How do we build it with smaller budgets over time? So I realized I had to put in the work and I had to make them see the value for them to start opening up a team and opening up, you know, the resources to me. Last August, they gave me that label department. And as of December, January, our department started bringing in 80% of the GMV. So I think that's really about like figuring out the solution and knowing your work. It doesn't matter if it's a Breaker or anything else that you're trying to do.
Absolutely. And now for you, Tiara, you've been at a few labels from Motown to Columbia. Talk a little bit about your experiences and even how, you know, it's differed across different labels, like some of the things that you've noticed that you can share with our audience today.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, like, specifically on the label side, like, each label is completely different. Like, a smaller label is going to be completely different than, like, a Columbia or an RCA. And I think kind of, Mia, what you were saying, like, it's unescapable. You can't really, it's just something that you kind of have to deal with. And I think, I was going to say both of y'all answered, you have to figure out the value, what you were just saying, that you can bring. Like, there's certain things that, specifically as Black women, they cannot take from us. Like, I can talk and relate to an artist a lot different than somebody else can, or an artist is going to respect me a whole lot more just because of, like, your value as a Black woman. And again, that's something that no one can take from you. Now, it can be extremely frustrating to sit in meetings and you sit there and you say an idea and no one listens, and then a white man says it, and everybody's like, that's a great idea. And you're like, I just said that! Well, you're not listening? And I think just in, you know, unfortunately, like, corporate America, if that is where you work, like, it's just something that's gonna happen. And I think, you know, like, again, providing your value and bringing what you can to the table, like, sometimes it's not the only thing that you can do, but, like, that's how you can separate yourself. Like, it's gonna happen. You can't let it affect you. And I've seen people kind of, you let it get the best of you, and you can't, because it's just, like, unfortunately, it's something that comes with it. So you just gotta, like, roll with the punches and be flexible.
Absolutely. So what would you say to your 20-year-old self if you had to look back and say, like, you know, this is where I am in my career? Like, what would you say to yourself?
It'll be okay. Like, I was always someone that was like, by 25, I'm gonna be married, I'm gonna have 2 kids, and I'm gonna be CEO. Child, I might still be hungover, okay? Like, from Saturday. you just, everything is going to be okay. And I think your path is your path. And a lot of times it's so easy to, you kind of like look at the next person and you compare and you're like, well, they did this by 22, so I should too. And that's just not your trajectory. Like, whatever your plan and your path, and even the detours. I think a lot of times I was like, oh, I don't want to take this job. And it actually led me to something else that I utilized in my career. Or, you know, I don't want to do this. I don't want to work with this artist, that then got me to the next thing. So nothing is wasted. That's what I always say. And you kind of have to look at those things as like stepping stones. And again, it's none of it's wasted at all, you know. And this isn't even my end, but at the end, it all works out.
Absolutely. I wanted to go back to Miss Milan. I know that you were talking a little bit about working with like Saweetie and Doechii. So what skills have you had to acquire to like, you know, work with these ladies? Because we have a lot of stigma that comes with working with women. So how do you go about working with other women, especially women of color?
Just being myself. I truly believe in being my 1,000% authentic self, because whoever's for me is going to be attracted to that, and whoever's not, you're not going to hear about them. So me presenting my full self, my talent, you know, my gift, what I have to offer, I always say that I'm an asset in whatever team, whatever situation, whatever room I'm in. You know, I present myself in that manner, and working with them, honestly speaking, has been amazing. Like, working with Saweetie has brought me so many different opportunities, traveling the world, being able to use my platform to also help other women in the industry, whether it's upcoming DJs, artists, you know, to the point where me doing what I do helped me to lead my way to find Doechii and to actually work with Doechii even before y'all see who Doechii is now. You know what I'm saying? So I just literally present myself as an asset, somebody that you want to be around, not only for the DJ aspect, but for the spiritual aspect, as a friend, you know what I'm saying? Just as somebody that I can really trust. I don't think trust is something that people have in this industry, because everything is so transactional and so fickle and so, like, you know, wavy or whatever, if you want to call it. But for me, I've always been like that 10 toes down type of girl, you know what I'm saying? So I just always presented myself in the best light, being myself, and just saying that, you know, I'm here to do my job, but at the same time, I'm here to go above and beyond for you, because I truly believe in the people that I work with. And I think that's the first thing you got to start with, is believing in whoever it is that you're working with. So it's been amazing, and they've been amazing too. So we pour into each other, you know. My cup is full, so I could run over and pour into somebody else's cup and fast forward, you know.
Hey,
vice versa.
yo, can we get a clap for that, though? Woo, woo. Speaking a little bit about, you know, just working with other personalities, Miabelle, let's talk about how, let's talk a little bit about, you know, being a personality on the radio. Did you know that this was a career that you've always wanted to take, and how do you go about responding to other people? Because you probably get a lot of personalities each and every day too, especially in your workspace.
Yes, this is something that I always knew I wanted to do since I was in, well, you know what? No. At first, I wanted to be a rapper or a singer, but I don't have it. I don't.
What
so
would
I
your
said,
rap name be, though?
It was MIA, because, you know, Mia. Yeah. Fun fact, I rapped for Method Man when I was 11 years old, and I was like, so you gonna sign me? And he was like, girl, you need some more work, but you sound good. And that was it. I did not get signed. But radio is something that I always wanted to do. I always said radio, TV, and books. And I'm thankful to be on the journey of it all. But dealing with other personalities, girl, what was the question? Is it fun? Because it's interesting. Everybody, you know, brings their own little pizzazz to everything. And, you know, that's how you work your people skills and learn how to navigate everybody. And I think I learned from a little bit of everyone, especially the legends, like Shayla from WBLS. She taught me a lot. She's the first one to put me on air and, like, you know, told me to put that bass in my voice, because I love to get a little high pitch when I get excited. But I learned from everybody. Nessa, who else? Deja Vu over at BLS. There's the morning show over at Hot, of course, and just so many people that pour into me in a way that I can take a little bit and make it my own. So it's been cool, a learning experience for sure.
That's phenomenal. And for you, Alicia, because Miabelle spoke a little bit about just touching different individuals, like, especially throughout the tri-state of New York City. So with your marketing campaigns, how do you make sure that you focus on, Gen Z audience or millennials? Like, what are some of the things that you've learned, especially throughout your career, that you can share with us?
So I think the biggest thing that marketing and PR taught me is they go hand in hand, right? So PR is the narrative. You can either wait for people to talk about you, hope they talk about you, hope they care, or you can design what they think about. You can just put that picture in their head. But there is no PR without marketing. Marketing is how you sell yourself to the consumer. So for me, it's not just like, it wasn't like a Gen Z or millennial thing. It's like keeping one foot in the streets. What's cool? And I think because like I didn't go to school for any of this, and you and I spoke, I thought I was gonna be a high school English teacher. Like that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to work with kids. So me working in the industry just totally came by left. But my biggest asset has been like just understanding like who's relevant. I think Miss Milan said, like, I've worked with females, I've worked with different people before, but they don't like me just because of the work that I do. They want to hang out with me on the weekends. They know like whatever is that lit platform, probably know the owner. So it wasn't just like let me get close to these people. It's like, what are they consuming? Why is that marketable? How do I integrate them into it? So, did that answer the question?
It does. Does that answer the question? Absolutely. So you spoke about PR, and now, Tiara, I know that you were doing a little bit of PR too over at Columbia.
That's how me and Tiara met.
Oh, wow.
That's how me and her met, and I knew she was a real sis. Because sometimes, or anyone in PR, my independent publicist, sometimes your artists put you in weird situations. Like I had my own agency. I later came into certain labels. When I met Tiara, I was repping an artist. His management team brought me in. And our first call together, because that's when you were heading up PR at Columbia, he was just so aggressive and nasty. And he basically was like, if you want to know anything, talk to Alicia about it. I'm not talking no more. And it's like, for someone that hasn't worked with artists or just people, they could have been like, who is this bitch Alicia? Fuck her. Do they know who the fuck I am? I'm big dog. But me and her, we spoke after that. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She's like, girl, I understand. Let's talk about this.
Because I was like, fuck them. You got it. I'm all set. This does not make or break my check. Because again, there's so many, and I love that you even told that story. There's so many challenging situations, I think, that people don't understand. And like you said, it could have easily been I feel bad about this, and he's coming in and I can't do my job. And I'm like, you're not talented. That's actually the issue. But anywho, the question.
But yeah, no, for us who don't know what PR is, can you tell us what public relations is? And for anyone who may be interested in getting into the field, just how they can, go about getting into it.
If you would have asked me this question 7 or 8 years ago, I would have had a completely different response. When you were talking, I was like, justice for publicists, because I think people think that it's so easy, and they're like, oh, well, I want to be on the cover of Fader when there's one person that works at Fader. Or, you want to be in all these publications where it's really about driving revenue and ad dollars. So they would rather post the same story about Drake 20 times than actually jump out and support a new artist. And I think, labels now are signing things younger and younger and newer and newer. We just signed 3 things that are, I think everybody's 16 years old. So there's not a lot to go off of. And like you said, it drives the narrative, but sometimes that narrative comes along the way. I don't think there's one, I guess, specific answer for it, but you do a lot as a publicist. Again, like you said, you're creating that narrative. You're obviously working with publications, but it's so much more. That's why I still call myself a babysitter, because you're babysitting. We were talking about Rolling Loud. I was babysitting somebody's kid, and I, literally on the hip, doing a tour manager thing and press, and that ain't my role no more. But you're a therapist. You are so many things that I think people sometimes overlook. Billboard doesn't even have a top 10 publicist or, top publicist thing, because, or I said that double XL cover. I was like, why are there 2 publicists on there? And you guys are the ones, no shade if somebody works at double XL. But again, I think they just constantly get overlooked. And to me, at least, I think they get the most brunt of anything. You know, like, and you still have to work with everybody, and they still call you because there's no budget also. That's the thing, there's no budget, so everybody thinks it's super easy to do things when it's, child. Listen, God bless all you PR sisters. I saw you waking your head, like, God bless.
Sounds like a lot of money talk. I know one question that I've always had was just asking for what you deserve. So, Miabelle, has there been a time when you knew you deserved a certain amount of money or deserved something better? How did you go about defending yourself?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Yes, there was a time. I feel like there's always a time. And I always go back to my elders or my mentors and I say, like, how much should I be getting for something like this? Or, you know, they'll coach me into what I should say or how I should approach the situation. Because sometimes I just be wanting to say, fuck out of here, baby. No, that's not how that works. Because, yes, they do be having a budget sometimes, especially these big brands. And they'll try to, like, you know, lowball you when you bring the party. You bring, you know, the energy. So, yeah, there has been many times. And I always go back to my mother in radio or, you know, my friends who are in other sectors, and they help me approach the situation the way I need to, and it gets done. And sometimes when, you know, the company refuses to budge, then we just gotta move on and do something else or find somebody else who can do it, you know?
Absolutely, in your budget, right?
Right.
Exactly. What about you, Miss Milan?
Same thing. I think in the very beginning, of course, you know, as an upcoming DJ, I was doing any and everything just to be noticed, just to get myself out there, you know, baby showers, graduation, strip clubs, whatever you want to call it, your girl was DJing it, you know. But over time, for me, you know, building my resume, also the value that I have, because honestly speaking, you can't really put a number on yourself. Like, it's really no number for me, to be honest with you. This is a God body here. You can't put no number on that. So that being said, I'm a charge, you know, what I feel is going to make me happy. And, you know, like Miabelle said, if they don't budge, then you just got to move on. You have to be very strong in yourself and in your worth of saying, hey, I know what I add to this. And if you can't see that with this dollar, then you just need to move on and be okay with that. I've had plenty of opportunities that I had to turn down because the money wasn't right. And we all gotta eat, you know. After a while, exposure don't pay the bills. Let's be real. Like, do I have exposure coins? No, I don't. So that being said, you know, you just gotta really believe in yourself, be able to say no. Like, no is gonna be your best friend in whatever field you do. No. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a no kind of girl if it's not right. And I'm very intentional too, so my spirit has to feel it. And I don't mind looking out and doing something from my heart. If I feel like, you know, it's something that I should do, then I'm gonna do it. But if I know you got the bag, I'm gonna go get that bag. Okay, and I'm not gonna settle for it. So that's just it. I don't settle, but I also know what I'm worth, and I also know what I provide, and that should be compensated at the end of the day. So, you know, the fairy godmother's on set, you gonna get a good set, so you might as well pay accordingly. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's just me though. Like, I'm good with saying no. I'm good now with walking away and not having to take, because let's be real, all money ain't good money either. And just because they throwing you a bag, don't mean you need to take that bag either. So that's just always my thought process.
Absolutely. I'm actually going to come back to you, Alicia, only because I know that you're also an entrepreneur on the side. But for you, Tiara, actually, I'm going to go to you. Can you talk a little bit about, you know, the label system and about how you've had to fight for what you are worth, especially within the label?
Yeah, I mean, I can only negotiate one time a year, or whatever, every 3 years. So, and I love that you guys said that you can, there's a lot of power in saying no, but I think for me, especially as I was coming up, I never talked with my friends about salaries, so you never know what someone's getting. And it wasn't until I think I was working at Red Bull. I had been there the longest, I was doing the most, and I asked 2 white girls who were working there and they were getting paid like $20,000 more than me. And I had been there, like I said, way longer. So I'm like, whoa, this is not right. And I'm doing the most work. Then I was applying for I was applying for another role at another company, and I asked my boss at the same job, who was a white man, what he would ask for. And we had $100,000 discrepancy, like not 10, 15, 100,000. That's 2 salaries, you know. After that, I was like, never again. Like, I'm going to ask. I think, you know, there's no shame around the money conversation. Like, so many times you're like, oh, we can't talk about money. That's taboo. No, what are y'all making? What are we making so we all across the board? And the second I started doing that, I think that's how I learned to advocate for myself. I've worked at countless jobs where I've gotten paid less than what I should have, like countless. And also I think sometimes it's like, well, maybe this isn't the place for me. And again, like I said, it's all kind of the stepping stones and the lessons and the things that you learn.
What about you, Alicia?
Okay, so it's a couple different things. Definitely, I would say I agree with everyone. I ask first, and I always ask like seniors and C-suite people because I want to see like all the different ways that they would tackle it. But I think a big thing that we don't do is R&D, which is the research and discovery and just Googling, like, okay, these positions that we want, what are the numbers on it? And then when it comes to me advocating, if I see that the number that the average person is paying that has X amount of years is getting 250, I'm gonna add 25 to 30% of that, and that's the number I'm coming at you with. Because one, I'm never gonna propose the number that I want. I know that business is a negotiation game. So I'm gonna go upward so you can bring me down and I could still feel like I got what I needed. Like you ladies all said, all money isn't good money. So I also wanna make sure that whatever the contract is, it's not like just a good situation. Like, how is this leading me to where I wanna be, right? And say it's a little bit under what I want, we have to be comfortable talking about percentages. As a publicist is like a babysitter, but we're also like managers, right? So why can't I get my 20%? I produced this video. I'm introducing you to everybody around you. I introduced you to these producers and told you how to speed up these beats. I need a percentage of that. But I also had to learn that to understand how to advocate for myself. Even in startup life, honestly, with as long as I've been in the game and what they want from me, I would never come into a startup not getting equity. That's just me. Because at this point, it's more than a salary. I'm not gonna put these relationships on the line and this might not work, or you guys might become $1 billion company and all I got was a salary. Like, what do I get? So I would definitely say research, look at those numbers. Don't be afraid to hit them with that high ball because they're gonna try to negotiate you down anyway. And sometimes you'll be surprised when you give them the number and they're like, okay, so send me an invoice and agreement. You'd be like, the hell? I've been getting this much all this time. So that's how I would definitely say to attack it.
Did you have a mentor that kind of walked you through this? If not, what are some of the resources that you've used to help you, navigate this salary talk?
Honestly, I would say that my mentor, my boss from the first internship I had became my mentor. I was working for this ad agency. They're a multicultural firm called Vital Marketing. They're now Hero Media. And I was supposed to be an intern working for free for 6 months, basically a field marketing intern doing a bunch of stuff. This is one, they didn't used to be paying interns. So all these interns getting stipends and all that, that's new to me.
Honestly.
I wish I wasn't even getting MetroCard money, like none of that. And 2 weeks into the internship, he approached me to be his executive assistant. Within a year, I became the lead account executive. I was helping activate things for like Nike, LVMH, and he was like literally anything I wanted to do, he would just allow me to do. I think along the way, as I started to meet people that were like the heads in the room, because I would always like, if I'm going to an event, I'd research the people who are throwing it. I know the faces, I know exactly what they did. I might have just went all through their Instagram and saw they did this release, they like to get their hair done at this place, so when I walk up to you, of course I'm nervous when I go into these places, but I already, like if I see you drinking champagne and that's what I drink, that's gonna be my icebreaker. I'm gonna find something so it's not so scary and we relate. So that's what's really helped me, and I can honestly say, like I had that internship turned job like literally 10 years ago. And on Sunday, I fly to Cannes, to France, for the first time ever. He's getting nominated for a huge award, like advertising award, and I'm actually, my girl right there in the back with the wine glass, she's helping me. But we're helping put together his yacht party that he's doing during Cannes Lions. So it's like such a crazy 360.
That's super dope. Ms. Milan, can you talk a little bit about how mentors or mentoring has been important in your life and how it has shaped your career?
Check. Okay, cool. So for me, I had a teacher teach me how to DJ coming up in my career. And I didn't have like a solid mentor until I honestly met DJ Mr. C, who really has been like somebody I could literally call right now and be like, yo, Mr. C, why are these niggas playing with me right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll be like, yo, you know. But nah, he's literally somebody that I literally can call and say, yo, any question that I have related to music or just life in general, he's been one of those. But for me, I haven't had like a mentor per se. And then I started saying, you know what? If I haven't had that, then I think that's my way of becoming that. So I decided, which I'm going to roll out. Y'all get the exclusive. But I'm starting my own mentorship program for upcoming DJs, for women, especially women of color.
Let's get a clap for that, though.
And it's free 99, you know what I'm saying? Because I love to give back. But no, I decided that I wanted to be the mentor that I would love to seek, you know what I'm saying? Have that person, be that person for someone else coming up, regardless if it's DJing, music, it could be anything. I just want to provide that space and that opportunity for somebody to have what I would have wanted, along my career. So mentorship is super important. You like, if you have somebody that, you look forward to being your mentor, reach out. But also one thing that I've learned when it comes to mentorship, it should be an even exchange. Your mentor should be able to teach you some things, and you should also be able to teach your mentor some things. You know what I'm saying? You should also be able to be available for your mentor. Like I said earlier, we gotta, pour into each other. So that's one of the things that I've learned about mentorship. But I'm excited to be a mentor to someone else, you know what I'm saying, or a few someone else, because I want other, DJ Miss Milans out there turning up the vibes, or just wherever it may take them. May not necessarily be just DJing. It could just be anything. I want to be able to be that beacon of light for someone else. So that's my little mentorship story.
Can we just give a round of applause for that, though? Dropping the gems. Tiara, let's talk about how others have approached you for mentorship. What are some of the things that you appreciated and other things that you felt as if someone should not have approached you like that?
I don't think I get crazy like DMs and stuff, but more so from producers. I feel like everybody's kind of been respectful about the mentorship aspect of it. And I always say, I truly do try to answer like every LinkedIn. I might miss some, but every DM and everything. But I think sometimes I've seen this conversation a lot, and I think people think of a mentorship as like, this is the person that is there all the time. They got me this job and they did this. That's not really my experience, like you were saying. Like, I have a few people that, yes, I can call on, but like outside of that, you got to do the work. And I think sometimes a large part of what's missing from the conversation is you still have to do the work. And so many times it's like, it's not a quick fix to any of this. Like, one person is not going to change, I was going to say they're not going to change the whole trajectory of your life, but like, I've had people that I don't even know speak my names in rooms, and that's how I've gotten through. And like, that's not someone I would consider a mentor, because I didn't, like I said, I have no idea who they are sometimes. But I think just being able to at least connect with other women, specifically women that look like you, for me, I think it more so gave me like the hope. Like, when I was struggling and I was like 24 and I'm like, I don't want to do this. This is not working out. And to be able to connect with another woman, like, that's what I think I needed then at that age, And sometimes I had somebody reach out and she's like, I feel like I'm bothering you. And I was like, not at all, girl. I'm a follow-up queen and I don't have no issues. So like, sometimes it's just that. Like, it's also not like somebody will say that to me and I'm like, no, I literally missed it. Like, by all means, follow up. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But again, it's not sometimes that traditional way I think that people think, but in any way that I can help, I'm always down to.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And we're going to have, of course, Miabelle talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to end on that high note.
We'll be talking about mentorship.
mentorship?
Yeah, mentorship. I would say if you're reaching out to somebody because you want them to be your mentor, definitely do some research and, dig in to see if it is something that you really want to move forward with. Because sometimes you'll meet this person and it's not cracked up to what it's supposed to be, So definitely do your research for sure. And when it comes to reaching out to people, make sure you come correct. The subject in the email gotta be correct, because I'm not gonna read it if it's not. Okay, that's important, right? See, everybody nodding their head. It matters a lot. Yeah, so I would say shoot your shot for sure. I did, but like Tiara said, you gotta do the work, because sometimes, you're reaching out to people and you have nothing to really show for what you're trying to get into. So you got to do the legwork yourself so that when they do look in that email, it's like, oh, that's what she did. Okay, I can use this in a certain way. And then boom, like Milan said, it's give and take. You see? So in any case, definitely build yourself up so you can present something, no matter how small it is. If it's a blog or whatever it is, anything, a startup, anything, you have something to show for it, which is really important.
It's the gems that you're dropping for me.
Hello.
Any last words from our panelists about advice? We have a lot of young folks in here that are looking, of course, to get into entertainment, whether it's DJing or in the label or radio personality or marketing. Like, what advice do you guys have kind of like to end the night off?
I just want to say consistency is key. It's not what you do to get in the room. It's what you do to stay there. I know Cece heard that. Don't get broken by your losses. Those are your biggest lessons. You learn the most when things fail, because then you properly know how to create a solution. So don't ever look at it like, I'm not doing this right. Kind of look at it as God steering, and I'm gonna leave it in. No matter your denomination, with God, you can do anything. Also, if any girls want mentorship, you could reach out to me on Instagram. My email is on my socials. I'm on LinkedIn, Alicia Gooding. I don't know if any of you other ladies have any last words.
I think kind of just to echo, like, you can't be afraid of the pivot. Like I said, so many times I have taken so many roles that I necessarily did not want to take, and they've literally all led me to what I'm doing now. And I would have never thought I would be running a label, like, ever. I want to open an ice cream shop, like.
Wait, hold on. Running a label? Can we get a clap for that? She name dropped it like it was something simple.
But no, I mean, like, I still, to this day, like, I don't, ultimately know what I want to do. But you just have to lean in, like, and like I said before, like, it will all be okay. Like, and you really do learn your lessons from the failures, like when things don't work out. Like, if everything is going super smooth, you have no idea how to be solutions oriented or how to pivot. Like, that's that publicity. But you have to, like I said, you just gotta learn to stick with the pivot.
Absolutely.
Okay. Biggest takeaway would be you don't have to have it all together right away. You don't. It's okay. Like, every day I tell myself, it's okay. We in a recession. We dealing with all these things. I don't have to have it all together, because who am I trying to impress except my old self at the end of the day? So it's okay. And I say that for any field that you may be in. You don't have to have it all together, but be intentional about everything that you do decide to do. Whatever field it is, always make sure that the love that you have for it comes first, because I love music, which transformed into me loving, because I actually want to be the next Beyonce, but
I mean,
like
it's
you
not
said,
too late.
what happened was niggas happened. I just really believe in just chasing your dreams. I don't care what age, what level, it doesn't matter. You're following, do it because it's intentional and it means something from the heart to you, and it's going to reach whoever it needs to reach. I know social media has us, our minds in a blender, where we think we have to microwave every single success, or we have to announce every single W, and we are afraid to even be vulnerable and show that, hey, I'm not, you know what I'm saying, my best self right now, or I'm not where I want to be. Like I said, it's okay. Everything is going to work out as long as you be intentional and you really do things from the heart. So I'm that type of person. Yeah.
Can we just give a round of applause for all of these beautiful panelists? We have Miabelle, we have Miss Milan, we have Alicia, we have Tiara, and I just wanted to thank you guys again for sharing your gem, for being a part of this. We have so many people in here who are, really just trying to figure it out, and I think that you guys are all setting examples by showing you don't have to have it all figured out, but you're still, going with the flow and still being that person. Exactly. It was about to come out, but I stopped myself. But as a thank you, we have these flowers for you guys. Just as a flower, you guys are unique. You water them. Ooh. So yeah, from now on, feel free to mingle. I know that there is kind of like another event that's coming in here. So I say feel free to talk to the panelists, enjoy a drink, and yeah, that's... let's see.
Yeah, we can ask some questions.
Okay.
Like, you got to clear the room.
All right. Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, sis.
Come on.
Real quick. We take like 3 questions.
I have 3 questions. That's the crazy part. Okay, hello everyone. I'm Kiana De La Cruz. You guys may know me from the viral. I'm a media personality, and I just did a recent interview with influencer Ella Bands. You guys may have seen it, Young and Lit. Okay, my questions are, how do you properly network? I know, I think Alicia mentioned that, you start conversations, things like that. I just want to know, how do you properly network when you're in a space like this, or when you're a more confined space where you have people who you may want to gain things or know information about?
Ooh, properly networking. Don't be weird. A lot of people get really weird in these spaces because of the work that other people do, and they feel like they have to, like, I don't know, present themselves in a certain way. And don't do that. I prefer to just be myself and try to make genuine connections. And sometimes it don't hit. In, certain rooms that you're in, you don't have to force it. That's my thing. And whatever energy that you're bringing and the work that you do, it speaks for itself. Of course, always be polite and, be cool. But just don't be weird, because it gets very weird. Right, Milan?
I would just say really quick, don't start off with what you're trying to offer. I like genuine connections. Like I said, everything is very transactional. Lord, I thought that was me. I feel like everything is very transactional in this world. So if you come up to me, we was talking about Real Housewives and Potomac and all this other shit. Start of a conversation, you know what I'm saying, that is relatable and not necessarily work. And that way, eventually, if the connections mesh from there, then you could take the next step forward. And it's not being fake, because a lot of people will say, well, that's being fake. No, it's actually being genuine, because you're not just hitting me with some work shit. Because half the time, we don't always want to talk about work when we out, to be honest. Networking for me is me shaking my ass. So I want to have fun, but if you want to network too, we can do that in a different setting, but I want to know who you are first as a person, see if our energies mesh, if it's a good vibe. That's how a lot of my connections, honestly, have been made, by just genuine connections. Like, oh shit, girl, you lit. Like, girl, you lit too. What you do? Oh, girl, boy, you a DJ? Oh, you know what I'm saying? So it's literally that simple. That's just my little gem. I don't know what the other ladies got to say, but that's my gem.
Hello. Okay. I would say networking for me, figure out your elevator pitch. It doesn't have to be super formal and buttoned up, but you should know what to say when you're stepping to somebody. I would also say, don't step to people drunk. Don't step to them high. But it depends on the space, right? So if you're at a cannabis event, or at a Rolling Loud or something, you're with the streetwear bands in the artist lounge, and if you're gonna interrupt my conversation, I wouldn't mind if you tell my artist, oh, I got the pack of this as you transition to me. That makes sense. There's a time and a place for everything. So figure out the elevator pitch. I'm down for a little bit of conversation, but if you're approaching someone who's already in a conversation, I'm not gonna lie, don't stay. After the 5 minutes, yes, get the contact. Get the contact for sure. Make sure you even put their number in your phone and you text them, because I have a habit, I'll meet people, and if I just save your number, I might not remember who you are the next day. So I always tell people, like, text me, so I'm like, that's definitely getting saved and remembered. I think that's the best way to network. And don't be afraid, especially when you're in rooms with women. If you know what that girl got, oh, I love your dress, girl. Who does your hair? Women love that. Compliment them. Tell them what you like, pull them in. You have any other questions?
Yeah, my next question. Well, does someone else want to ask something? I don't want to take up too many times.
Is your mic on, Simone?
Hey everybody, my name is Paris. I am born as Simone, but I'm actually rebranding just because I'm going to lead into my question. I'm actually in women's wear. I'm a women's wear designer. My friend Janice was wearing my piece. And I wanted to know, what is the best way you'd recommend to combat imposter syndrome? I'm a person that has a little bit of trouble. Oh yeah, thanks, Jan. And I get a little nervous, and sometimes, even though I know I have some experience and I know I have the talent, I don't know how to speak for myself just because I get scary and I don't feel comfortable being in rooms that maybe I'm supposed to be in or maybe not, I don't know. But how would you say the best tools you've used when you didn't feel exactly strong in your spot?
I just had this conversation 4 hours ago. I am somebody who experienced so much imposter syndrome. And it wasn't until I was finally able to be like, you know what, I'm supposed to be here, but I don't know this. So let me ask the questions. The second I just started asking questions and didn't put up like a front. Like, I didn't know, because I had no clue certain things. And I started asking questions, and then I was able to like receive and be open and actually get the knowledge. Like, you're not supposed to know everything, literally. You're not supposed to have it all together, and so many times we think we're supposed to know everything. We're supposed to have it all together, and that's just not realistic. And the only way that you really can like learn and grow is by asking questions on the things that you don't know. And it's gonna happen, right? There are still days where I'm like, whoo, child, what in hell? But again, I still constantly, I'm open to learning and learning from people that are younger than me, because that's the only way that, again, you're going to learn.
Yeah, girl, you got to remind yourself who you are all the time. You made that outfit, right? You did? Okay, women's designer, hello. You got to remind yourself all the time. You wake up, you see something that you made, I made that. That's who I am. And make sure you continue doing that, because sometimes I feel like we forget, right? That we do our jobs and we do it very well. So remind yourself with those affirmations for sure.
I love that. I think she just had a quick question. I don't know if you have time. You're like last.
Hi, I'm Kristen Ayana. I'm a journalist and media personality. I just want to thank you all for being on the panel. So my question is, how do you all maintain your mental health? I know you guys are in amazing fields, dealing with a lot of people, so I just want to tap in with y'all about that.
Girl, you just hit a nerve real quick. Do we got time? Oh, no, we don't got no time. Okay, really quick. As somebody being very, very transparent that has dealt with depression, okay, down in the gutter, I thought the devil was my best friend on my back. Listen, you have to do the positive work for yourself, affirmations. If you could seek a therapist that you really enjoy, go get you some therapy, girl. It is an investment, okay? I always say that. Investment in my mental health is very, very important. Literally, I do some meditations. I disconnect from the world. We got to remember, these phones are literally going to drive us crazy if we constantly put the amount of time in them, because they're not going to put that time in us. So you got to do the work for yourself. So you got to make sure you disconnect, whether it's an hour, 2 hours a day. Just find who you are, find that space, and feel your emotions. Like, I've been one who's like try to hide my emotions and not deal with them, but you have to deal with them. That's the only way you could get over them. So my best advice, meditate, find a therapist if you can, really unlock from the world and just do things that you love. I know we're in a world where everyone wants to monetize every single skill. Find some hobbies that don't require you to make no money from it. If you want to paint a dog, go paint some dogs, okay? And be the best dog painter there is, because it makes you happy and it brings you to that childlike, that childlike feeling. I'm the type of person, I'm always doing everything that's childlike. You'll see me dancing, singing. I'm in my own world half of the time, because it's important to remember your world matters among this crazy world that we're living in. So please, mental health is something that is very, very important. Anybody that deals with any mental health issues or anything of that, please don't be afraid to hit me up. Your girl goes through it all the time, but I'm very much an advocate of it, and I'm always here to help those that need, that little shoulder or need that advice as well. So I just felt like I had to say that to you, girl. So, because trust me, we be going through it. You know what I'm saying? If you want to cry, cry. Ain't nobody going, and when you cry, you do look prettier after, just letting y'all know. But yeah, that's it. I'm just saying, that's it.
Give a round of applause to yourselves, and thank you to the panelists again for your time. So we're just going to have you guys take a few pictures, but everyone else, you're free to network and grab something to drink outside, and we'll just go from there. Thank you.
Make some noise for Kadijat. She's a